Yeah, hi. Hi everybody. Freyaz and I thought that we should start with what we call reading comprehension. And I'm sorry, but I'm also going to speak a little bit on why we want to do it and what is my idea of what should be gained by the reading comprehension. We give them a short passage, preferably from the 11th standard textbook. Sometimes when I run out of good passages, and believe me, there are very few, as you can all imagine, then I will take other passages, but I will try to take things which will give some kind of general knowledge or some current event or something which matters, all right? The idea of the reading comprehension, there are three stages. First, of course, you read. And when you read, I need them to get the meaning, the literal meaning of the words which are in the reading comprehension. Okay, that is obvious. You're going to tell them meanings. You're going to ask them if they know the meanings. You're going to ask them if there's any word in what they have read which they cannot understand. All right, so that is your first part, your reading. Comprehension. There is often a hidden meaning, to put it in very simple English, a message behind the words, which you will see in this very first passage that we do. There's often a message behind the words. Unless you're good enough at the language, you're never going to get the message behind the words, correct? So first ensure that the person has understood the passage correctly, and then go into the next step, which is the message behind the words. All right. The third part is that often we will have idiomatic language. So when we are native English speakers, or we have started learning English very soon and very early in our childhood, we understand the context of idiomatic language. It's hot as hell. Okay. She is over the moon with excitement. Doesn't mean कि वो चांद पे है. Right? This is a perfect example of idiomatic language. A sentence like this or something like this which comes up in your passage, you have to ensure that your mentee has understood the context, the actual meaning of it. All right? So that is a part of comprehension, real comprehension. The third part is, of course, answering of the questions. So we will have a few questions written there for them, and we will ask you to run through, not in a SSE way of question, answer. What does a mentee think the answer could be? Anything you want to add to that answer, and then take it to the next question. Don't write down stuff and give it to them, please. As you are speaking to them, they must always have a paper and pencil ready by their side to make their own little notes. Let's stop this Indian teaching way of the teacher gives you notes. You mark the notes, you go for exam. No, sorry. Okay? You are the teacher. You speak slowly, carefully. You can repeat as many times as the student wants you to repeat. Student writes down what student thinks is important. Then student answers questions from the passage and from the little notes which the student has made. All right? Preferably the student answers in his or her own words. We don't want your words. All right? We want them to express themselves. Perfect. Apart from the passage, I feel that we should give them a little bit of background. As you will see in the passage we do today, we will place the passage geographically. Where is this actually taking place? Now, when you and I read the passage, we may automatically know where it's taking place, but that may not hold true for all our mentees. A place where it is taking place, if you know for a fact in the passage it says it's taking place in Hyderabad, then you could elaborate on that. It's taking place in Paris, you could elaborate. Today's passage is taking place on Mount Everest, so we can elaborate on that. We are giving the context, and we are giving a little bit of background to increase their knowledge. Okay, if there is an event which is taking place, and we talk a little about the event. If the passage is, for example, on Independence Day, okay, what led up to Independence Day? All right, just a simple example I am giving you to try and explain to you what I want done. If there is a person there, background of the person involved, supposing it's something about Mahatma Gandhi, okay? So we all know, yes, father of the nation, whatever. but it may not be that obvious. It may be a passage on someone these kids have never heard of. Okay, they may not know about Albert Einstein, they may know who he is. So just a little bit, just a very little bit, to put everything into context. अरे ये तो एग्जाम में नहीं आने वाला है. Yes, I know, because in Indian education we don't care. We just want to copy those two sentences. All right. But here we're really trying to teach them, we're trying to open their minds, we're trying to broaden their knowledge base. If a passage is from a book, it's a story, a part of a story, we may want to mention who the author is. We may want to give the context. We're doing a poem. I was doing in the 9th standard in the municipal school. Carriages are going on the street and all these kids are totally confused. Where are these Ghoda Gadis coming from? Give the context. It's a 19th century poem. It's set in England. At that time, there were no cars. That time, there were carriages on the road. Give the context. Okay? So this is up to you to read your passage extremely well in advance, to find things that the kids may not be able to relate to, and therefore to give the context in advance. So the passage, this will be especially true about poems, all right? Where often the context is lost if you don't explain. You may want to work around the passage. You and I, and many of us, have exposure which we just naturally got as children. Listening to our children speak. Listening to our parents speak. Oh, you know, X came from holiday and on the top of the Eiffel Tower. It was fantastic. The view was fantastic. Okay, as a child, you already learned through osmosis. Paris, Eiffel Tower. You can go up the Eiffel Tower. You get a huge view of Paris. Okay, just by being in that family. All right. But now, if we are doing a passage where some monuments are mentioned, we could also move laterally to other monuments. You know, which are the great monuments in the world? People should know this. Our kids should know this. Eiffel Tower is in Paris, right? Why was it built? You can go up and down. There's a lovely lift. There are restaurants on top. You get a fantastic view. There's a viewing gallery. Also in the Empire State Building. Also in the Statue of Liberty. They don't know this. We know this. Why? Just from being. So let's work around the passages a bit too. Okay. Now, since I'm short of time, let's go straight to the passage.
You're fine. You keep going. You're fine. You keep doing
Good.
what you need to do. Okay.
Good. So the passage for today is from the 11th standard textbook. Ajmer, if you're there, you have the book and it's on page 17. Okay, so the Ajmer is not here. Oh, okay, too bad. Okay, if anyone just finished the 11th and they know it very, very well. So I guess everybody has read the passage, please.
Yes.
And the name, well, the name I've given it is To the Summit, right? That's what I've said. Okay, yeah. So this is an extract from a narration or by Tenzing Norgay about his climb on the Everest. And as you can imagine, this is the last part of the climb, right? So please explain, where is Mount Everest? What is Mount Everest? Which is the highest mountain in the world? They will get the answer immediately, Mount Everest. Where is Mount Everest? Mount Everest is on the India-Nepal border. You can ascend from either side, from the Indian side, from the Nepali side. Of course, I'm talking very fast because you guys can write fast. Okay? You're not going to speak at this speed, please. Okay. So over the years, people have made many, many attempts to climb Mount Everest. But the first time, 2 people actually managed to go to the top, to the summit. What is a summit? The summit is the top of the mountain. It's in the title, right? The first time they managed to go was on 29th May, 1953. We just went past the 67th anniversary of this climb, right? Because it was 29th May, just a couple of days ago. So when you go to climb a mountain of this magnitude, you don't go alone. You go with a whole team. And as you ascend, what is the meaning of ascend? To go up. So what's the opposite of ascend? Descend. These work, as I said, don't just stick to the words in the passage. Give them as much information as you can give them. To descend, to climb a mountain, to ascend the mountain, to descend the mountain, to climb down the mountain. Use as many new English words as you can. Ensure that they have focused on those English words and written them down. They must write it down, because otherwise next week, you will ask them what is ascend and they'll say pata nahi diti. Okay, so a whole team or an expedition sets out to ascend a mountain. On the way up, they start making camps, right? You must have heard of base camp, camp at this height, camp at that height. You set up camp, and fewer people progress to the top. So in the case of our passage, only 2 people were selected for the ultimate climb, and that is what our passage is about. And the 2 people who were selected for the ultimate climb, as you all know, were Hillary and Tenzing, right? Edmund Hillary, a New Zealander, a mountaineer. Who is a mountaineer? A person who wants to climb mountains. Please look at the spelling. Make sure they get the spelling right. Mountaineer, all right? And Tenzing, a Sherpa, a Nepali Sherpa. Who is a Sherpa? A local Nepali person who assists the expedition. They were actually the porters, you know, because the big shot climbers, even today, don't carry their own stuff on their backs. It's the Sherpas who carry the extra oxygen, the food supplies, whatever the medical supplies, whatever else is needed, is carried by the Sherpa. So Tenzing started out as a Sherpa and then gradually made his way to leader of expedition, because that's how good he was. Great. He's Nepali by origin. Start reading the passage with them, please. Can you look at the passage, please?
We're looking at it, Rashmi.
Yeah. During the last 50 feet from the peak, Hillary and I were moving about 20 feet apart. What do you mean by feet? Okay. We have a metric system and we use centimeters and meters. What do you mean by feet? What is a foot? 12 inches. Why is it called a foot ruler? Right? Same reason, because it's a foot. What's a plural of foot? Feet. What's a singular? Feet, foot. It's going to be especially important to kids whose English is not that good. It's going to take them time to tell you what the singular feet is. So those who have non-TIF mentees, go into the words because they will not know the meaning. Okay, so the rest of it is fine. Taught, another word, important. So pick out words, ask them what they mean. Ask them to tell you when they don't understand the word so that you can explain. For this, you need to be prepared with every meaning in advance, right? Please don't give them wrong meanings because these meanings are going to stick in their head forever, all right? Try and be exact. If you don't know the meaning, you can tell them, fine, let's go ahead. I'm going to look it up in the dictionary. I'm going to come back to you. All right, you can always WhatsApp the meaning to them later, after 15 minutes, no issues. Okay. So important here is the rope was a symbol. When I said we are taking the literal meaning of a passage, we are saying the meanings, etc. as we were. Foot, feet, taught, what is the meaning of symbol, what is the meaning? When we are saying the message behind the words, when we come to the second paragraph, this rope was a symbol. It tied us together. one could not move without the other. We were not two individuals, but a team. Think of the hidden meaning there. What are we trying to say? What is Tenzing trying to say here? Exactly what we're trying to say in Pechan, right? None of us move alone. We move together. We move as a team. It's about teamwork. It's about cooperation. Let the mentee talk about these kind of things, because we are wanting to open their minds, not just get them through the 11th standard. Great. So I'm not going to go down the passage because all of you all have perfectly good English and can manage this on your own. Okay. When we go to the questions, all right, we say, I think the first question was, can someone just read it out? Who was Hillary and somebody got the questions, please?
Yes. Who were Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay?
Yeah, perfect. So now you've already given them the background, right? This is not in the text, which is why I'm asking questions which are not in the text. SSE style, you just bracket. This is what they do in municipal schools. They just bracket the relevant part in the passage and they copy it out, all right? So they don't even change the tense. They just copy it out, all right? But we don't want to ask them questions like that, because those are stupid questions according to me, and they can find the answers in the digest. We don't get to do that. Don't waste your time with rubbish. Okay, second question, please.
What was the rope a symbol of?
Yes. I think the most important question in the passage, what was the rope a symbol of? All right. I guess you guys have all got it. All right. Let the mentee speak.
One of them to answer that for us. What
Yes.
was the rope a symbol of? Somebody take a shot at it.
Ma'am,
Yes.
may I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Arushi and Madhura both. Start with Arushi. She raised her hand, then come to Madhura. Arushi, go.
Ma'am, rope was a symbol of their unity, their teamwork. It showed their faith in each other. So rope was a symbol of their teamwork.
Fair enough. Madhura, your
Ma'am,
take.
yes, ma'am. The rope tied them together. One could not move without the other. So it kept them together, and if they were in team, they could not move ahead or climb the mountain.
Great. Yeah.
Great.
So exactly like Priya's asked you all, ask the mentee what they think. Okay, we don't want to push our ideas into their head. We want them to think and come up with their own ideas.
Kushi, you had a question? No, okay. Next thing, Rashna, is from the passage. You got it? Okay.
Can you name 3 qualities of Hillary and Tenzing which you think are admirable?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure they're going to come out of, they can come out with separate qualities for both of them. They can come up with qualities which they think both of them had. All right. Because I guess something like perseverance or whatever is going to be. Yeah, sorry. This was not their first attempt. Okay. And by all means, not Tenzing's first attempt. He had tried this many times before. Okay, that's something you may want to tell the kids. All right.
Rashna, let them answer this question.
Sure,
from
please.
the passage, Sapna, take this question. From the passage, can you name 3 qualities of Hillary? You do 3 qualities of Hillary.
Ma'am, one is both of them were
united.
united.
You do Hillary. You do Hillary. Give me 3 qualities of Hillary. Edmund Hillary.
Okay. Trustworthy.
Okay. It's okay. Take your time. No worries.
Dependable.
Okay.
Yes.
Strong.
Okay. But that's beautiful. Right, left, connect, right? Nowhere are these words written down. So you have to think of them and bring them forward. So that's what we're trying to get them to do, right? Nafisa, try the second part of this question. Three qualities of Tenzing.
Determination, hard work.
Very good.
Hardworking.
Yeah. Determined, hardworking, and
trustworthy.
Perfect. All right. kind of getting how we're going to get them to think. These are not questions these are not answers that are readily available in the passage. They're inferred by how well they've understood the passage. Rashna, next. Explain it in your own words.
Yeah.
So they have to explain the paragraph in their own words.
No, explain in your own words these three words, which I have written: summit, taught, and symbol. The summit is, of course, the peak. Draw mountains when we were kids, you know, that little pointy peak. So the peak can be a pointy peak, but in many cases, more realistically, there's a bit of flat on top, as there was in Mount Everest, which is why these guys could stand on it, okay, or they would have fallen down. So the summit is the peak or the top of the mountain. It may be pointy, it may be flat. Taut. The rope was taut. Anyone? Meaning of the word? Yeah, Khushi. Yes. Stretched, yeah.
Yeah, pull
Tightly.
tight.
Yes, pull tight between them. Okay, so that the slightest, if the other person falls, the other guy already immediately knows. Because you see, one guy's the anchor and one guy's climbing, right? Please look at their trust on each other. Please look at how they trust the system, what they've perfected, what they've decided to do. Okay,
Rashna,
great.
may I add something here?
Yeah, please.
When we're doing the word taught, a lot
Yeah.
of kids get confused with other similar sounding words that are spelled differently or have a different meaning.
Great, great.
Since we're doing taught, T-A-U-T, please teach them the difference between T-A-U-T and T-A-U-G-H-T. Pronounce the same, taught, taught.
Yes.
Right? Past tense of the verb to teach, I taught. So the completely different meanings, but same, and different spellings, but same pronunciation. So that's also another way of creating layered learning within there. Pehchan way, the Pehchan way, right? Layered learning, not what's directly in the passage, thinking outside, getting answers from outside, inferring, making that right-left connect. These are all the things we are going to put forward, not the boring, straightforward way of teaching. Go ahead, Rashna.
Symbol. Symbol's an easy one, right? You could also ask them for other symbols. Okay, what does it depict? Symbol stands for something. Can you name any other symbol? All right. If you have one or two symbols you've already thought of, please, and ready with them. If they can't do it, you can give an example. Then I'm sure they'll come up with 10 more examples, right? Make sentences of your own using the words above in this correct context. Let them make even very simple sentences. And they make a very simple sentence, and perhaps you could complement them and then try to make the sentence into a complex sentence. Try to make the sentence a little longer. Try to make the sentence a little more difficult or complicated. But let them come up with their own simple sentences first. Compliment them for whatever they come up with. Even if it's grammatically incorrect, it's a good start. If it's grammatically incorrect, you could repeat the grammatically incorrect sentence and ask them, can we make the sentence better? How can we make the sentence better? Right? It's a good sentence. I understood what you're trying to say. You have communicated your idea. Can we improve the English? How can we improve the English? Okay. Mountaineering is an adventure sport. Can you name any? That's just a fun question. Skydiving, whatever. If you can dig up some pictures also after they come up with their ideas to show them some adventure sports which they may not even have heard of or seen before. But I think for that, a few pictures might be helpful. And you guys are super at all this. Please, I can't do all this. So I've not produced any pictures. Show me a picture and tell me to copy and paste it somewhere else. I can't. Okay. So great. That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thanks, Riyaz. Please take over.
So just so you know, these are what my notes look like right now. What's the first thing you notice when you see them?
They're organized and they're super neat, unlike mine, which is in the back of an envelope.
What else do you notice?
Different colors, pointers, and
Yes.
in alignment.
Colors, Khushi, colors. So everything Rashna said we will need to do for all comprehensions, I've written in blue. Everything that she's said that we need to do for this comprehension, I've written in pencil. All right? Note taking so that you can learn better is also an art, and also allows you to learn and assimilate information a lot better. Remember, for some of you, whoever we were meeting yesterday, I said there will be level up skills that are also taught. This is a level up skill. Whether you're at a workplace or whether you're studying academically, knowing how to organize your notes is a huge deal in getting one whole grade higher than you normally get. Right? So that is also a skill we'll be teaching we'll be teaching the mentees when we meet with them. How do you organize your notes? How do you structure your thoughts? Things like that. Before we go into more of the Pehchan way, anybody have questions about what Rashna has covered? So, ma'am just wants to come out automatically.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah,
This really bothers me. Okay.
Not happening.
Yeah.
Anyone have questions about what we've covered so far, or what Rashna's covered so far? Okay. Does this sound like an interesting passage? Be honest. Okay.
Well, it's from the 11th standard book, and the 11th standard book is only that interesting. Okay, seriously, it's not the greatest.
So we have to bring it. We have to bring it to life. We have to bring it to life. I mean, seriously, if you sit there with the passage, you read it to them, and you go through it with them, how is it going to be any different than a standard lecture or a standard class? So if you, now having been through online Pehchan, now having been through mentor training, if you had to think of, and I'm going to ask several of you this question, if you had to think of one creative way to bring this to life, what would you do? What would you do? Madhura, since your hand went up right away. Look at this.
Ma'am, so
Madhura, wait. Third color pen. Right? So as Madhura gives her ideas, I'm going to list those creative ideas, and then I will use this to select what is best going to work for us. All right? Madhura, go.
Okay. Ma'am, I was thinking if you could ask them to visualize if they were on the mountain, they were climbing. If I have two mentees, I could ask them, like, you are one team and you're climbing the mountain, what difficulties you would be facing, what would be
Very
your
good.
experience, expedition about everything. So we could actually help them to visualize if they're actually climbing the mountain. So that was my idea.
Well done.
Great idea. Great idea.
Who else? Akshika, Stephanie, give us ideas. What is a create? And we are all learning, so there are no right answers, no wrong answers, and there's no judgment here. We are all just putting our ideas into a pool. Akshika, you can hear me? Stephanie, you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we can give them situation related to the paragraph, so that what would they do in different situations. So like if they were Hillary, if they were Tennessee, suppose. So what quality, what would they discover in a particular situation?
Fair enough. Well done, Akshika. Stephanie?
Oh, we can actually put them into two different groups. Like if you are going with somebody, and if two people are going with two different people, what will they expect? What will be the basic qualities they want, or how cooperative will they
Very
be?
good. Very nice.
Okay. Stephanie, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Rashna understood it, but I didn't understand. Please, can you say that again?
Okay, I was
Yes,
telling.
what qualities would you look for in your partner if you were going on an expedition? Am I right, Stephanie?
Yes.
Your life depends to a large extent on your partner. What qualities would you want in your partner? Great question.
I can't write fast enough.
Okay, take it up. We have only 40 minutes, right? Yeah, this is our worry always.
We are coming back, right? We said 1 hour in the morning. So we'll
Okay,
come back
no issues.
for the second round. Yeah, but Stephanie, this is an excellent question. So that would come into this part of what we're doing, right? The question part. How can we bring it to life for them? How can we put it like when they're visualizing it, they see the mountain, they're climbing the mountain, they're tied to somebody else. They can even choose who their partner is. Then, you know, what would you do if situations while they're visualizing them? What is another way we can
If we could show them a video about it?
Yes, please. You technologically cool people, they're lovely pictures. Okay.
Yes.
Timesnews.com has a super picture of both of them with their masks and things. There are also, please show them how cool it's up there. The ice. Maybe they have no idea. They are walking on icebergs, these guys. Okay.
Yeah. I have a feeling some of you all will also learn through this.
No, we will. I woke up at it. I put an alarm in the morning to get all this information up, right? I didn't just know it. Every time we teach, we learn.
But some of you have completed your FYJC. Yeah. Who's asking me a question? Somebody's asking me a question. Okay, while they're joining back, Mayuresh, if you had to think of one creative way of bringing this to life, what would be that one creative way? Again, no right or wrong answer, but just exploring ideas.
We can give them a example. Like basically in this passage, the guys are climbing the mountain, right? So we can give them an example. Suppose they are climbing the stairs of that building or some building. They can imagine that they are climbing the steps of. They are climbing the mountain, but they can just.
Yes. Yes. And if we had stairs that they could climb, we could even have given them that as an activity that they could have done just to get a sense of the kind of energy output it might have taken to get that done. So Mayuresh, well done. That's a good way. 20 feet. One of the things Rashna talked about is feet and distance. How would we get them to get a sense of how far apart 20 feet is? 1 second, Madhura. Let's hear from Ananya, Huda, someone who hasn't spoken. Ankita, Kushi. Yeah, Kushi, go ahead.
We could ask them for their height, and their person's height is 5 feet. So we can say that imagine four of you placed by a length. That is what 20 feet is.
Yes. Absolutely. Right. And one of the things you can leave them with, Kushi, to think about is you lie down, then you make your sister lie down, then you just see how long that is. Then you double that, right? Something to leave them with. So that they get a gauge of, oh, this is what 20 feet would feel like. He was over there, I was over here, that kind of thing. Getting it, kind of how we sort of bring it to life. So we have visualization as an idea that's been put forward. We have what would you do if situations put forward, very similar to one of the activities we did during online Pehchan week when we were doing deserted island. What would you go and get? Why would you go and get it? This way we're using similar skill set, but we're asking what would you do if? What would you do if you were climbing and all of a sudden there was the snow started sliding? What would you do if while you were climbing there was a snowstorm? What would you do if your partner had a fall? What would you do if? Kind of getting it? Similar skill set to that deserted island activity that you did. The question that Stephanie posed, what qualities would you look for if your partner were on the expedition? Like of the partner you were on the expedition with. And then sharing videos, and then this feat thing that we just talked about. You see, but you only have 1 hour in which to deliver this information. We don't want you to just stretch it out for the sake of stretching it out. Yes, Nafisa, please talk to us.
Ma'am, we can, in order to just explain what is mountain climbing, we can give the reference of movies like Ye Jawani Hai Diwani is a very common movie and everyone have mostly watched that. So we can give them, reference of this, and we can tell them that what is mountain climbing.
Yep. Perfect, Nafisa. Well done. Yes, Jisha.
I have a question. How do you know that you have to stop? Like you've given examples, they've understood, and then you need to come back to the topic. How do you know? How do you strike that balance?
So just come with doing, I'm sure.
That's an excellent question, Jisha. So the formula I have used to help me gauge whether enough examples have been given is when I ask them a question, if they are able to answer it without hesitation, then I feel like, okay, they've got it. I don't need to go on and on and on and on with an example. This is especially helpful when you're teaching them the meaning of a word and you're trying to get them to put it in a sentence. If they are accurately able to put it in a sentence, they can't. If I'm asking them sort of not super difficult questions, but middle of the way questions, and they're getting the answers correct, then I know, okay, they've understood the essence of the passage, right? So what you are going to do, and now after having listened to Rashna and everything that we're going to do, I think someone on our meeting yesterday had made this suggestion that you all should take your sessions on Wednesday, and then we should take our sessions on Thursday, like the day after you all do it, so that if there were any residual questions, we could answer, sorry. Because then you all will not be touching base with them for a week. Maybe that makes sense now that I'm listening to how this is structured. But here's essentially what's going to happen. You're going to get on the phone with them. They're going to get this passage ahead of time. We're going to send them the passage ahead of time.
Yes, please, so very important. Very important.
We are on a group with them anyway, right? We have a participants group. So we will go ahead and we will send the passage to them ahead of time. We will also, to save time, tell them which are the main words we will be focusing on in terms of vocabulary words. And if we find a video for context, we might even add that video and send that to them on the participants group, so that they have a good context by the time they get on the phone with you, which will allow you to maximize the use of your 1 hour with them. All right. So many of your kids should have some idea of what you're going to talk to them about when you get on the phone with them. Is that fair? Is that fair? All right. So we're going to do that. And then the other thing is, we were talking yesterday, the change makers who were on the group, is that one of the things we are going to do, you are going to go over it with them, but we want to check for comprehension. We want to check how much they actually understood from what they read on their own, what you taught them in terms of spellings, in terms of sentences, in terms of grammar, in terms of comprehension of the passage, right? So we will be giving them a certain set of questions, small amount, 5 questions or 6 questions, that they have to answer and return to you, which you will then assess how effectively you were able to teach them or get the message across to them. Fair enough? Fair enough? All right. So it's not enough anymore just because now we're preparing them for college, right? We're preparing them how to write their paper. We're preparing them for the content that they are going to have to deliver in college. So it's not going to be enough, okay, we did this activity, that's it, you learn this, move on. We're actually going to check for how much they learn so that when they're ahead of the curve when they get to college. Cool? All right. This is what you're delivering. Then when Rashna and I do our separate sessions with the mentees, so just like we are doing this session with you, we'll be doing a session with the mentees. We'll be covering different things. How do you present yourselves? How do you answer in a viva? What is a viva? Etc. Like other college essential skills that they need. You should be seeing, you as the coaching mentor should be seeing a level up every week, because they are getting more time than just 1 hour with you, right? They're getting time with us once a week. Plus, they're going to get access to special speakers and other people who will connect with them on Fridays for a class. And they will be getting this information that will be coming across to them on their participants group. So you should every week be seeing them level up. If you are not, that is cause for concern and you need to report it back to Keisha. That my mentee did not show a level up this week. So we can understand what we need to do and where we need to step in. Now, only you will be able to tell us whether you saw that 1 week level up or not, right? Because we will be meeting them in a group, much like we're meeting all of you. You will be meeting them on a ratio of 1:2. So you will be able to tell very quickly whether they are leveling up or not. Also, while you are meeting with them, they may come up with questions and you may feel like, oh, one of the Friday sessions should be targeted to this, or one of Rashna's and Friyaz's sessions should be targeted towards this. That's when you communicate with us, right? Because all the Friday schedules or all the Friyaz Rashna sessions with the mentees are not set. We'll be developing the topics as we go. Clear? This has to be a true partnership between you and us. It is not working like online Pehchan, where it is, we are telling you you're delivering this activity, we are teaching you how to deliver this activity, you're delivering this activity, and that's it. We've gone one level up, right? So now it's a partnership. We are going to put forward something to you, just like you suggested these ideas that we are now incorporating into how we are going to do it. You are going to help us build the curriculum, deliver the curriculum. Please, we are looking for those of you who are going to offer us ideas and suggestions. Iksha, you had an idea or a question or a suggestion?
Ma'am, I have a question. Ma'am, there are some mentees, like my mentee is there. He can't concentrate at all. I mean, ma'am, he's fidgety. Ma'am, I mean, he'll start looking around. I mean, he won't concentrate. We don't know the reason. I have told this before also, but I don't know how to curb his concentration.
But
so that he focuses.
Understanding what you were saying, Iksha?
So, not so much. We would have to repeat it again and again.
Okay, and how many is that coaching in online Pehchan?
3, ma'am.
3 between the two of you. You had 3. Okay, so you know your mentee mentor, thank you for bringing that out, Iksha. Keisha will take the name of that mentee. Maybe we'll make it a one-on-one in his case to make it easier to communicate or connect with him. I wish we knew SSC results. We would have a better handle on things, but we're gonna move forward in this particular way right now. Is that okay, Iksha?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Yes, Kushi, go ahead.
Ma'am, I had an idea actually about the passage which just struck me. Could we ask them about their experience in trekking, like just in Lonavala or something? a little bit of
Most of,
climbing.
you can always ask, but most of the kids we've ever worked with haven't been outside the perimeter of their home. Wouldn't you say that's correct, Rashna? They
Yes.
walk to school, they walk home, they walk to the bazaar, they walk home. Most of them, like one of the things Rashna has always said, like they haven't even seen like Gateway of India, or they haven't seen like, they're not even aware of the city that they live in. So highly doubtful, Khushi, that they would know about Lonavala, but you can start with, have you ever been to Lonavala? Rather than tell us about your trekking experience. You can start with that. And that might be a real learning point for all of you, right? Everything is an exchange between both sides of the bridge. And that might be a real telling thing for you when they say, no, Didi, I've not even been out of this area. I've only been here, or I've never been there. That might be exposure for you in a different way. But that was a really well thought out question, Khushi. Thank you for asking.
Maybe they can refer to their gaon, because a lot of them will have a gaon and there are mountains or hills. So if not Lonavala, maybe you could refer to a gaon or a village, or where they go, where they may have experienced something like that. So,
that's really awesome, Kisha. So there's another great suggestion there. All right. There's another great suggestion there. I got it.
Or ma'am, we can ask them where the village is and we can ask them to describe it.
Sure, but let's focus on let's focus on this passage, right?
If you have time left over, yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. Mountain, climbing, snow, describing snow, photos of snow, like let's stick to actually creating the context of the passage. And even if you have extra time, Eksha, ask questions related to the passage. Colder weather, clothing in colder weather. Stay connected or as close to the content delivering as possible, right? Like in my house, I know that when I turn on the AC, it's like, oh my God, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. So how will they handle the cold at Mount Everest? I mean, you kind of getting that context. It's like if they sit in the and the AC is at 23, the AC is not even at some like 18 degrees or something like that, Yes, Rashna.
A question which I'd really like you to ask, didn't think of it. What is the difference between being at sea level and what is the difference between being on a high mountain? The rarefied atmosphere, right? You know that. The air becomes lighter and lighter as you go upwards. No, I mean, not northwards, sorry, higher, on a higher altitude. So as you climb, there's less and less oxygen. What do you do about that? Why is it difficult to breathe in places which are at a higher altitude? So when you get to the top of a mountain, you would not be able to breathe at all. So then what are you doing to breathe? You are carrying that oxygen cylinder. Please understand the weight of that oxygen cylinder on their backs. The masks which they are wearing, almost their entire face is covered with the mask. If you show them pictures, they will get this, right?
We'll send you photos on the group. We'll send you a video on the group. And, but you feel free to add content. Remember, I don't want you all to exceed 1 hour. When you are with them, I don't want you to exceed 1 hour. There is a method to this. If you just drag this out, we will not keep their attention for 6 weeks. Nor will you have the energy to continue for 6 weeks. Right? I mean, look, online Pehchan took everything from all of us because we were delivering at the level that we were delivering. I've made it clear yesterday, I'm going to say it again today. If you have 2 mentees, you're going to do it at the same time for both of them. You're not going, this time is convenient for this one and this time is convenient for this one. So I'm going to do it at 2 different times and I'm going to repeat my effort. If they had a lecture at a scheduled time, you're going to get them in the habit of college. If they had a lecture at a scheduled time, they would show up at that scheduled time. And if they missed the lecture at the scheduled time, they missed the lecture at the scheduled time. Are you kind of understanding what we're trying to say? This is not like online pehchan, idhar bhi gap fill karo, udhar bhi gap fill karo. No. Between 9:30 a.m. and 12 p.m., you are going to schedule 1 hour. And that way you will be done before their lunchtime. And so lunch is not getting in the middle. The only other option you have is to do an evening session in case they are doing, like a lot of our TFI kids are doing some online classes in the morning. So in that case, your 1 hour session might happen in the evening, but it's 1 hour at a set time, and it's that time every week for the next 6 weeks. If you don't get them in the habit of a schedule, we will have another challenge on our hands. Are we clear about this? Are we clear about this? Yes. 1 hour, not to exceed 1 hour. All right? Okay. I have nothing else for this particular week's training session. Are you excited to deliver this to your mentees? Yes, I mean, this is serious work. You're now actually doing college curriculum work. You're no longer doing theoretical anything with them. You're doing college level work with them, which is amazing. So that's it for our Monday training session. We will send you which mentees you will be coaching. And we will tell you whether it's Wednesday or Thursday. Please bear with us another 1 hour, and we will tell you whether it will be Wednesday or Thursday. Questions. We are done for the training part of this call. Anyone has any questions? Okay. Some of you have expressed interest in doing more than just this 1 hour coaching with your mentees. For you all, we have fun Pehchan challenges in which you can participate. So those of you wanting to participate in Pehchan 2.0's challenge number 2, you all can stay on the call. The rest you are free to go about your day. Swara smile, you can see there's always a catch. If you stay on the call, I expect you to complete challenge number 2. You can't just hang out here, check it out, go shopping like you're at Nature's Basket, see if you want it or you don't want it. And then, yeah, Stephanie, I see that laugh. So if you stay on this call, I expect you to participate in it. Yes, Miss Avisha, how much time will it take? Is that the question?
No, I'll have to leave for my session. So who else should I make the host?
Go ahead. Acha, who else should you make the host? Yeah, now I don't need it recorded. So you can make Keisha the host again. Not an issue.
Okay.